For daily Ask Reddit. r/Ask Reddit. People who work in law enforcement, what is work like right now? If you enjoy the video, drop a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Facebook friend is a cop. They gave him 24 hours off yesterday. Before that he put in 100 hours in 7 days. He pretty much slept through his day off. Yep, my brother's a cop. Has worked 20+ hour days in the past week. For a position that requires a level head, making someone work that many hours seems like sabotage. I wonder how many are considering new career paths. I was considering becoming a policeman as a backup plan. Having studied systemic racism, cop culture and multiple flaws of the police system for the past year, I was confident the awareness brought by my university program would allow those who would join the police to be better than the current ones. However, I'm kinda worried about the social etiquette that'll come with joining the ranks now. Good thing it's a backup plan, I guess. Where I'm at, there's been plenty of protests and I've not had a day off in over a week now. But honestly, the protesters here have been respectful, well-mannered, and honestly a great representation of how things should be. I've had great conversations with them and think some good came of it. Sure, I had one or two get in my face screaming and such, but it really didn't bother me cause of the above paragraph. I'd say, from my experience, most people aren't anti-cop-piracy. They are anti-excessive force and violation of rights. And I'm with them. Protest the shit out of it. There is a need for change, and I'm ready for it. Help me get these new cludriggers out, so we can all have better days. My cousin is in an outer suburb of Minneapolis and he just became a cop. He said Friday night, when the protests and riots were happening, when he worked, was the hardest night of his life. The chief officer said he hadn't seen anything like this in the past 18 years he served there. A friend of mine is in the army, and she said she's been on active duty this entire time and it's been super long for her. I witnessed the effects of the riots firsthand and it's crazy. I don't think the city has ever seen something like this in most people's lifetimes. Maybe in the past, but not the current generations. I'm a police officer in a town in the middle of England. It feels pretty detached from what's happening in America, or even what's happening in London. We had protests over Saturday and Sunday, but there was very little overt police presence in what I think was a deliberate act by our chief constable. As an organization, we've more or less said that we stand beside the protesters, but we will have to take action if there is violence. In the UK we police by consent, so the police need to imbue a sense of trust in what they do, otherwise it wouldn't work. There's always a small minority in any protest that appears to only be there to cause problems, or is looking for a fight with the police, or with other protesters, but by and large the vast majority of protesters, where I'm, seem to be there for the right reasons. Work for me has more or less carried on as normal up to this point, but if the UK is put through a second wave of COVID-19, and there is still civil unrest around the BLM movement, I think we might start struggling to police the way we have been. Been on the job for a few months now in a liberal beach town. Beginning was weird because of COVID. Not many radio calls and little proactive enforcement. Since George Floyd's murder, things were really tense in the beginning. My department has treated the protest as more of a parade and let the protesters exercise their First Amendment right. A few broken windows here and there, but nothing big. A lot of talk within my department, and so far my chief has decided to do away with the carotid restraint. I'm sure more change is coming, but hopefully they start to change the hiring process in terms of multiple psych levels and begin to fire people for gross misconduct and or openly being a bigot. We've been 12 on/12 off for the last week. Due to how tame everything has been, we just went back to our normal work schedule. It's exhausting and depressing. I can't go an hour without someone flipping me off or screaming "duck the police." I'm just as upset about the murder of George Floyd and police brutality in general as anyone else. I wanted to be a cop, to make a positive difference in my community. I work for an incredible agency that hires high caliber folks, and I've never once seen any of my coworkers do their jobs with any malice of hatred toward anyone. I just want to be happy to go to work again.